This is a $139 smartphone. I don't usually review super cheap phones or pay much attention because there are so many no-name, quick hit, cheap phones out there that disappear as quickly as they arrive. The common thing about all of those phones is that they offer one Android update and usually 1 year of security updates, if they do that at all, which is part of how they stay so cheap. That low price isn't always the full story because the phone becomes essentially obsolete once the security updates run out. And look, I get why they do it. Providing software support is expensive. Even big companies like Motorola only offer 1 or 2 years support for their flagship phones. Samsung just moved from 2 years to 3 years when the Note 20 launched. But this phone, the Teracube 2E, offers 3 years of Android security updates, and it also comes with a 4-year warranty with free shipping for repairs both ways for a flat fee of $39 if it goes wrong. Why is this important? Longer OS support makes sure your phone maintains and improves performance as Google tweaks Android. And security updates keeps your phone safe. The latter is particularly important. So offering this level of support for that long for a phone this cheap is a bit of a game changer. True value for money isn't what the product costs up front, but rather how long it lasts before you have to replace it for a new one. Smartphone buyers are starting to realize that, and people are starting to hold on to their phones for longer. Manufacturers are just now catching up. Teracube has effectively set a new pace. But what you really want to know is how good is the phone? And to be honest, well, it's cheap, as you'd expect. But there are some nice features here. It has stock Android, a fast and responsive fingerprint reader on the back. The teardrop display is semi-modern and the bezels aren't huge for a phone in this price range. The 720p IPS panel is surprisingly decent, although low pixel density in comparison to more expensive models is obvious. There's this old school blinking light notification that transport me back to 2010 and the HTC Desire days. There are also nice little touches here and there, like this DuraSpeed feature that restricts background apps for a little bit of a performance boost, which actually does quite a good job. It also has a good story. Teracube says this is supposed to be more of an environmentally friendly device and an answer to electrical waste created by other companies that don't make their phones repairable. If you know about how Samsung and Apple serialize their internal parts of their phones so they're harder to repair, then you know there's some truth to that. To make this phone more eco-friendly, there's a 4000 milliamps battery that is replaceable, and I can't tell you how good it is to have that feature again. I personally would rather have an option to replace a battery when it's depleted or carry an extra for emergencies than have a shiny glass frame that hoards fingerprints. The Teracube 2E is also made from 25% recycled plastics and comes equipped with a fully biodegradable case made of wheat starch and biodegradable polymers. I didn't get to try the case, but this kind of bioplastic is becoming increasingly popular in sustainable production. There's also no charging brick and the box is recycled paper. The intent and the execution in terms of the company's environmental credentials is definitely there. It's a noble initiative. Although Teracube's stated mission is to solve the smartphone environmental crisis, and I don't really see how making another phone that will ultimately be thrown away, even if this lasts for a long time, is an answer to that problem. Perhaps they're leading by example, or it's just a bit of marketing. I'll let you decide. In any case, the story of the phone is good, and the cause is admirable. But what you really want to know is, how does it stand up as a 2020 device? Quick verdict is that it's okay. The battery life is good. It lasted well over a day with moderate usage. The design is fine, it doesn't look too dated, and the performance of the MediaTek A25 processor is as you'd expect. It's budget, but not distractingly budget. Gaming, browsing, and doing all of the stuff you expect to do on a smartphone didn't present any obvious problems. The DuraSpeed app really helped with this. The results of the 30 megapixel and 8 megapixel wide and depth cameras are mixed. In daylight, the camera performs well for a phone in this price range, better than I expected. In worse lighting conditions, it kind of falls apart. Camera app is also sluggish and looks pretty basic. It takes a while to switch between options, although the shutter speeds on the standard photo mode is pretty quick. There are some good manual shooting options, including setting the ISO and the exposure, which is effective in the right lighting conditions, but in darker environments, they're kind of rendered a bit useless. It doesn't have the fun stuff of more expensive phones, as you would expect, like a high refresh rate or an extra sharp display or even a competitive camera, but it's also a fraction of the price. And ultimately, price and camera are the two things people mostly care about. This phone delivers on one and partially delivers on the other. So is it worth your money? If you're price conscious, then you're getting unbelievable value for money with this phone. For those super savers, you could feasibly spend $139 on a phone that will comfortably last you 3 years. That level of price and support is pretty much unmatched in 2020. But if you've ever used a mid-range or a high-end phone, I think you'll be unsatisfied with this. It might be one for your kids or one for someone who's not particularly interested in technology. But I think there's good news on the horizon here. This company has a hint of OnePlus about it. It's doing something dramatically different to the rest of the competition. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a much more accomplished effort next time around, and other companies also start copying that incredible support offer. So that is the Teracube 2E. It's an interesting phone and an interesting company. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.